Welcome to polynomial division. Let's begin. So the essential question we want to ask is just how do we divide polynomials? Okay, so there are two ways to divide polynomials. We can either do long division or we can do synthetic division. We're going to try both, you're going to try both, but eventually you can pick which one you like better. Okay, long or synthetic, they'll both give you the same answer. So over here, let's go ahead and start with long division. And then we're going to do the same problem with synthetic division. Okay, so let's start over here with the long division. One of the things that you're going to need to remember is whatever polynomial that we have here at the front, so this divided by that. So this right here, we're going to need to represent every x piece in here. So this has 4x squared. It doesn't have an x value, right? It does have a number 9. So we're missing that middle piece. So we still have to represent that. So we have a kind of a placeholder, 4x squared plus 0x minus 9. So you see how it's the same thing because 0x is 0, but we do need to represent that when we're dividing. So I'm going to move this up here a little bit, and then we're going to do 4x squared plus 0x minus 9 divided by this 2x plus 3. Okay, so this is long division. You did it as a kid. You just had a number like 10, and then here you get like 323, right? So it's going to be the same steps, it's just working with polynomials. So the first thing I want to do is I can multiply this up here by 2x. Because 2x times 2x is going to give me 4x squared, right? And we want to be able to cancel that out. That's how many times we can plug this into here. So 2x times 2x will give me 4x squared, which I'll write here. And then 2x times 3 is 6x, so plus 6x. And then we're going to subtract. Just be careful because you're subtracting both terms. So 4x squared minus 4x squared, that cancels, right? And you just end up with 0x squared, or nothing. We don't have to put anything there. And then 0x minus 6x is a negative 6x. Okay, and then you bring down the next term, which is just a negative 9. And then we do this all over again. So I want to put something here that when I multiply by 2x, it'll give me negative 6x. So that would be negative 3. Because negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And then I just multiply negative 3 times positive 3. In this case, it turns out to be negative 9. So that helps us out here because when we subtract, negative 6 minus a negative 6 just cancels, right? And then a negative 9 minus a negative 9 also just cancels. So then we don't have a remainder. Sometimes you will, in this case we don't. So then my final answer is that 4x squared minus 9 divided by 2x plus 3 is just 2x minus 3. So that's my answer there. 2x minus 3. So you'll see, just like it works when you're doing 100 divided by 50 equals 2, to check it you would get your answer 2 times 50 equals 100. So here 2x minus 3 times 2x plus 3, if you were to FOIL that, does get you back to 4x squared minus 9. Okay, so now let's try the next thing except with synthetic division. Remember, you're going to get to pick which one you like better. So with synthetic division, this right here needs to have just an x value. It's got a 2x, and so we need to make it just an x. So what we're going to do is divide it by 2. And we're going to divide this by 2 also. Since we divide this by 2, we need to divide this by 2. So that actually gives us a different polynomial. And we're going to be dividing 2x squared minus 9 over 2. Yes, you have to have fractions. Divided by x plus 3 over 2. Okay, so just like over here, remember there was an x squared, there's no x, we had to plug a 0. Same thing, we're going to have a 0x in there. So what we do is we set up our synthetic divisions, a line in a little box here, and what we're going to place on this top row are the coefficients. So a 2 a 0, because remember the 0x, and a negative 9/2. So I've got a 2, a 0, and a negative 9/2. And then what goes in this box, that's why we got rid of the 2x and just made it an x, is this number, but we change its sign. Okay, so what's going to go here is a negative 3/2. See if I can fit that in there. Negative 3/2. Okay, and so the steps are, the first thing we do is we bring the 2 down, and then we're going to multiply. What's in the box? Negative 3/2 times 2, and that's going to go here. So negative 3/2 times 2 is just negative 3, so I'm going to write the negative 3 here. Then I'm going to add up and down. So 0 minus 3 is just a negative 3. And then I'm going to do the same steps. In the box times this is going to go here. So negative 3/2 times a negative 3 gives me positive 9/2. So positive 9/2. And then I'm going to add up and down. Negative 9/2 plus 9/2 is nothing. Okay. So up here we started with the 2x squared. So we just subtract 1 off that exponent. So that's just x. And that's what I put here. X. And I would just go down from there, but there's nothing else to do because x1 minus 1 would give me x to the 0, which is just a number. And whatever this is your remainder. Remember we said sometimes you'll have a remainder? In this case we don't. So my answer is just 2x minus 3, which we also got here. So 2 different ways to do division give you the same answer, right? 2x minus 3 times 2x plus 3 would give me 4x squared minus 9. Okay, so we got through that problem, so let's try another division problem. And we'll do it in both ways. We'll have long and we'll have synthetic. Okay, so let's try long first. Remember, we need an x to the 4th, x cubed, we need an x squared. There is no x squared here, so we're going to plug a 0 when we are setting it up. And we have an x, and then we have a number. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. So, x minus 4, and I've got x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 0x squared, you have to have a spot for there, minus 7x minus 14. Okay, so don't forget to do this, plug in the 0x squared, because it will mess everything up. Okay, so we want something here, right? Then when we multiply by the x, we can get x to the 4th. So that's x cubed. And so x cubed times x is x to the 4th. And then x cubed times negative 4 is negative 4x cubed. And don't forget that you're subtracting the binomial. So x to the 4th minus x to the 4th will cancel. And then negative 3x cubed minus negative 4x cubed, right? So that basically makes this positive, will give me a positive x cubed, or 1x cubed. Okay, bring down the next thing. That's why you need the 0. And then we start again. So I can put an x squared up here, because I'm going to do x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 4 is negative 4x squared. Right, I'm subtracting, so that cancels this, and 0 x squared minus a negative 4x squared gives me a positive 4x squared. Bring down the negative 7x, start again. Now I can multiply this by 4x. 4x times x, 4x squared. 4x times negative 4, negative 16x. Okay, subtract it. So that will cancel this. How did I get a red? Oh well. Okay, so that cancels this. And then we have negative 7x minus negative 16x. That basically makes this a positive, right? So that'll give me a 9x. Bring down the negative 14. Start again. So we're going to add a 9 up here. So 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. you're subtracting. So this cancels. And this is negative 14 minus negative 36. So basically this becomes plus 36, which would make this 22, positive 22. Okay, there's nothing else to bring down. There's nothing else I can multiply. You can't multiply anything by x to get you 22. So this is my remainder. Okay. So my final answer, let me see if I can write this in my space, would be x cubed. Right, so I'm taking what I have up here. This is my answer. X cubed plus x squared plus 4x plus 9, and then you have to add the remainder, 22 over x minus 4. And I got the x minus 4 because that's what we're dividing by. Okay, so remember this is a fraction of an answer. So that's why we have it as a fraction. So when I did this polynomial divided by x minus 4, I get this polynomial with the remainder. Okay, so take a second. Don't forget, if you need to go back and see how that worked, you can always rewind the video. We're going to go ahead and do synthetic division now. For me, I like these long types of division problems with synthetic. But again, a lot of people think this is easier, so it's up to you. So what I'm going to do here is remember to take the coefficients of each one. I'm sorry, the first thing I want to do is make sure this is just an x and not a 2x or 3x. In this case, it is just an x, so it makes this easier. I don't have to divide by anything. So now I have an x to the 4th, x cubed. Remember, I'm going to put a 0 for the x squared. 7x negative 14. So take all the coefficients, 1, negative 3, 0, negative 7, negative 14. And then I've got the little box on the side. Remember where I got the 0 from. Okay, you're missing that x squared. Don't forget that, it will mess it up. Okay, and in here, I put the opposite sign of this number. So I'm going to put in a positive 4. Positive 4. So the first thing I do is bring down the first number. So there's the 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And then I'm going to add up and down. So that's a 1. And again, 4 times 1 is 4. Then I add, 0 plus 4 is just 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Then I add, negative 7 plus 16 is 9. Same thing, 4 times 9 is 36. And I add up and down, negative 14 plus 36 is 22. And so I started up here with my x to the 4th. So then this answer I need to start writing x cubed, right? Just subtract 1 from the exponent. So 4 minus 1 is x to the 3. So I've got x to the 3 here. So 1x cubed plus 1x squared plus a 4x plus a 9. So there's nothing else to put there. And this is my remainder. And that's my answer. So x cubed, that's a 3. That doesn't look very good. So this is supposed to be a 3. X cubed plus x squared plus 4x plus 9 plus 22 over x minus 4. Same thing as this. Okay. So just as a tip, some people really like when there's not a number here. Like remember in the first example we had to divide by 2 in order to do synthetic, and then we had some fractions. So when that happens, some people like to do long division instead. When it's going to be easier where you don't have to have a fraction, you don't have to divide, they like to do synthetic. So again, either pick long to do all of the division problems, pick the synthetic to do all the division problems, or you can do that mix and match and say, oh, this problem's easier with long or this problem's easier with synthetic. That's completely up to you. Now we're going to practice these in class for 2 days, so you have plenty of time to get used to it. But make sure that you go back and watch any of the examples that you need to, as many times as you need to, so that you understand what it is that we're doing and you understand the steps for long and synthetic. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you soon.